Welcome to Scoop World Order. I know you guys are getting ready to turn up. It's Penn State week. We heard from Ryan Day, heard from Jim Knowles today. They said as little as usual, but it was kind of interesting to see some of the questions about the vaunted Penn State defense. We're going to myth bust that tonight. But the clock is winding. They're through the Bloody Tuesday practice. They have Wednesday, Thursday, and then it is about time to kick it off against the Nittany Lions, a team that we've dominated. For some reason, everyone is spooked about these guys, but since 2012, which is a long time, they've beaten us one time, the 2016 game where we had the blocked field goal. So we're going to get into that and take your questions. But as always, we're thankful for you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for being a part of the show. Thank you guys for liking the content. Click subscribe. Also, click that little alert bell. We appreciate you guys so much. Shout out where you're watching from. I want to know where you're watching from. I saw Texas. I saw my people down at Portsmouth. I saw Huntington. I saw Chesapeake. I see people from all over the spot. Naples, Florida, Texas. I always love to see where you guys are watching from. Appreciate you guys all over the world watching. But we're going to get into this. And who needs to step up? Who needs to play more? Give me some names. I'm big on Brandon Inniss, the Cardinal Tate. Need to start taking some snaps from some of these guys that frankly aren't productive. And we need to get better at that. With that being said, I'm going to bring in someone who's always productive and at the top of the PFF grade chart. That is Nevada Buck. Nevada, how are you tonight?
Just call me Nevada Hornibrook. Nevada Hornibrook, top of the PFF, always at the top of the PFF chart.
No, you're Nevada Harrison. Nevada Jonathan Harris or Zach Harrison. Zach Harrison. I think he owns PFF because he'd be like 95 every week. I mean, he'd have 2 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, and like 97% grade. Probably would have won. Probably won the Heisman for PFF, but I digress there. Ryan Day spoke today. We listened. I don't know why. I mean, I could go just watch my grass grow in the backyard and get as much information as Ryan usually puts out. But did you glean anything from what he said today and what your boy Jim Knowles said?
Well, those guys are pretty relaxed, man. I'm telling you, that's a you can generally tell with a vibe from Ryan in terms of how he's feeling about his chances based upon kind of his demeanor, and that's a confident group right there. I mean, Jim Knowles was cracking them up today. It was, making jokes and talking about, and Ryan looked like a guy that's really got a good handle on his team, really got a good game plan, really likes this group a lot. They feel like they can coach this group up hard. I thought that was kind of an interesting comment. And no, I think it's where we want to be on Tuesday of Penn State week, and I cannot wait for Saturday because I think this is going to be. I know this is going to be a great showing with the Buckeyes. I have a great feeling for this. I think the Buckeyes have a great game plan, and I'm calling it right now. Penn State is a paper tiger. They've got some gaudy defensive statistics predicated upon the fact that they've played absolutely no one. And I think they're going to get exposed on Saturday. And I'm calling that right now. And I'm putting my money where my mouth is, as Nevada Buck has been bet online -3.5. Just hanging out that 3.5, 4-point spread right now. But Nevada Buck is betting heavy. This is a 10-star special for Nevada Buck. So -3.5 on Ohio State. Take the money.
Yeah, I knew that their schedule was trash, but then when I actually looked at it and I saw, okay, West Virginia, they stink. Delaware stinks. Illinois stinks. Iowa can't score points on air, let alone versus the defense. And they had Iowa at a whiteout night game at home, so the ultimate advantage. Then they play Northwestern, who is like an absolute, I mean, they're the Titanic at the bottom of the ocean at this point. They whack their coach. Kids are in the portal. Nobody wants to be there. They should have just canceled the whole season there because none of these players want to play. None of the coaches want to coach because they're all fired. And then they played UMass. So that is probably the worst schedule in the entire country to this point in the season. Iowa is Iowa. They're average, maybe one of the middle to upper tier teams in the Big Ten West. But being the best team in the Big Ten West is like being the tallest midget. So it doesn't really mean anything. So I looked at this and I'm like, this is the team you're saying has the number 1 defense. And like Ohio State's like number 3. And we've played Notre Dame, who's fantastic, and just whooped USC. We've at least played some offenses that have some skill and somewhat of a pulse. Like, I mean, you can say what you want about Maryland, but their quarterback is legit. They've got skill guys, and, Purdue stinks. But, I don't know. Like, I mean, that Notre Dame win, it looms large because I feel like when you've got a team like this and they've had an actual chance to be battle tested, it's different than when you see something like this. Because like if you play Iowa, if you score 3 points, you basically win because they can't score. But we were doing the 5 reasons why Ohio State is going to crush Penn State. Give me reason number 5, Nevada, because we were talking about this in pre-show. We'll kind of stack these up. We'll just both give our own opinions. You can do 3, I'll do 2. But give me your first reason why they smash Penn State.
James Franklin. James Franklin sucks. I mean, he's just he manages to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory for more than any coach. I can't believe he still has a job. And so James Franklin is my number 5 reason why Ohio State smacks Penn State around. And he knows it too. Coming into Columbus, they've had one game that was a 1-point game back in 2017. Other than that, they lost by an average of 19.6 points over the past 5 trips into Columbus. And I'm not predicting a blowout, although the game could get out of hand. But I think it's going to be a convincing, suffocating effort by the Ohio State defense, and a great day for the Buckeyes. But James Franklin's my number 5 reason.
I'm going to say the entire offensive line except for the left tackle. The left tackle obviously is a fantastic player, but in the O-line, like one guy doing his job doesn't really help you get anything done. The interior guys haven't seen anything like Tyleik Williams and how he's playing, let alone Mike Hall, JT, Jack. I mean, obviously JT had his supernova game last year against Penn State, but I just think that, Olu's going to get the left tackle, who's a top 10 pick, really good player. But the other 4 aren't good. And the interior 3 are terrible. And so, the way Tyleik is playing, if he keeps that motor running hot, I think that's going to be a major problem for these guys. I think a guy like Drew Aller hasn't seen interior pressure like he's going to see here. He's going to have to scramble. He's going to have to get loose. And, like when you got a guy like Sonny Styles roaming around as the Sam linebacker, I mean, you could get your head knocked off. So it's going to be interesting. This is going to be the first real environment that Drew Aller's ever played in. It's going to be loud. Despite it being noon, it can still be loud. People start drinking at 4 a.m. instead of, 10 a.m. or 7 a.m. or whatever. So get lubed up, get loud. But I think the interior offensive line, that is reason number 4. Reason number 3 in Nevada.
Marvin Harrison. They just, he's kind of the great X factor in all of these games that, when you've got a quarterback like McCord who, they've got this connection that goes back, 10, 12 years, and when they were little sprouts. And, Marvin's the most explosive player in all of college football. You've got McCord who's kind of stepping into his own. Ohio State's looking to take some deep shots, setting some stuff up with some creativity on offense where they're actually stressing the defense. And a guy like Marvin, you have a go-to guy. He's kind of like Devontae Adams was for Aaron Rodgers back in his prime. But you've got that go-to guy. You need that 3rd and 8, and you bail you out at any point in time. So Marvin Harrison, reason number 3.
Real quick, we got a super chat. Denzel Burke, questionable as of today. Not doing much of practice. So I think he's going to gut it out, but it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. I mean, again, these guys, if not, Jermaine Matthews he's a cover guy. I think corner, it's the hardest position to play in sports, but if you're good at it, you can play it as a freshman because it's just, your athleticism and your ability to cover man on man. And I don't think Penn State's receivers are that vaunted. Reason number 2 for me is Ryan Day. We're going to break down a play that I absolutely loved. It was your play. I call it the Nevada Buck play because you texted me and you said, "Did you see that play? That was amazing." So we literally yanked it off YouTube so we could play it for you guys. We're going to break it down. But I think Ryan Day finally is coming to the realization that you're allowed to be creative on offense and actually call some like decent plays. Because again, we've had, some very bland stuff that's easy to go against. And I'm all for being difficult to go against on offense. And some of the stuff he's going as Purdue, I was like, wow, that is really hard to defense. It's really hard to defend. Guys have to be basically perfect position. And in football, there's always a guy or two that screws up. So if you can make them pay, that's perfect. And again, we broke down some loser plays where, we called stretch into the boundary and there's a linebacker that's too far over and there's no way you can combination up to him. And guess what? He made the play every time. So we got away from that. A lot of confusion, a lot of misdirection. triple option look that we're going to break down that I absolutely loved. So thank God we started running the quarterback. We ran some read option. We ran it down in the red zone, ran Devin Brown. We ran more creative things last week than I think we have all season. So I'm very excited to see what we run against Penn State, because Penn State is going to blitz the absolute crap out of us. And that never used to be their standard bearer back in the day with Joe Paul. When we went against them, they used to run basically cover 3 every single snap. But now with Manny Diaz, he's going to be turning up. And again, here's the thing. You have to remember, when a team blitzes you, a lot of people are like, ooh, that's scary. They're going to blitz us. You have to make them pay, because like with Urban, if you're going to bring blitz 0, that means it's touchdown time. And we broke down last night. If you didn't watch last night's episode, when Purdue went blitz 0, we threw it to Marvin Harrison, and guess what? That poor corner had to cover the entire field by himself with no help, no safety, and he got torched, and we scored a touchdown. So that's what you're supposed to do. So reason number 1, Nevada, is
the stadium, the crowd, the atmosphere. Drew Aller hasn't seen anything quite like that before. I think the Ohio State fans are going to bring it. You've seen the prices of tickets for this game? They're through the roof. It's
I can't afford them, but I know you can, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a high demand ticket. No, this is a high demand. You can always tell how fired up Ohio State fans are by the price of the ticket in the secondary markets. And this is an expensive. This is probably one of the more expensive, like regular seat, not Michigan game tickets that I even remember in a while. And I think the crowd is. I know the crowd is going to be absolutely electric. Aller has not seen anything like that. It's going to really cause some confusion for the Penn State offense, and it's going to really fire up that OSU defense. And I think that the crowd, sometimes the crowd can kind of blow a guy away, especially a young quarterback who hasn't been through it before. I think the moment's going to be too big for Aller, and I like him. I like him a lot, but I think the moment's going to be too big for him. I think the OSU crowd carries us to victory on Saturday. Reason number 1.
Well, I agree with you, because I think that this is the worst home schedule in Ohio State history, and this is literally the only good home game. I mean, we only had 5. So last year we had 8. Or we only had 6 or whatever. So we're 1 short. Normally we have 7. I think this year we had 6. After this one, we've got Michigan State and Wisconsin, both terrible games. And then we started the year with Western Kentucky and Youngstown and, a bunch of games that no one's really like dying to go see. So, this Penn State game was like the shiny jewel on the schedule. It wasn't like last year where we had Michigan and, past years where we've had like Michigan, Oregon, or, all these other good, out of conference games. So last year, like we had Notre Dame, Michigan. This year, man, this was it. So it doesn't surprise me, because there's Buckeyes all over the country. A lot of them want to go to this game, or they want to go to the big game on the schedule. And when this is the only big game, the only choice, because last year you could have gone to Michigan or Notre Dame. This year there's one. It doesn't surprise me that the tickets are expensive. I expect people to be rowdy, crazy, taking off work Friday. They can start drinking Friday at noon, and they can get rolling all the way until kickoff at noon, hopefully, and just be loud. Like I said, we need noise to mess with Drew Aller. Because again, I know, everyone thinks everyone's a pro, but they're not. This kid's he's never played in an environment like this. He played high school football 2 years ago. He, was watching last year, standing on the sideline and holding a clipboard for most of the season. And, frankly, he's a kid that, I hope we get after, because he spurned us. When Quinn reclassified, we went after him hard, and then we ended up with Devin Brown, but we wanted Drew Aller. And, and he was committed, and we didn't care. And we don't care about commitments, because that's just how modern recruiting works. And he said no. He said, I want to go to Penn State. So he turned his nose up at Ryan Day, which I think is crazy, because if I'm a quarterback and I have a chance to work with Ryan Day and work with that receiver room, it's a golden ticket to being a first-round pick and an NFL guy. And you see how Justin Fields and CJ Stroud and these guys are first-rounders, and they start as rookies, and they play fantastic. And, they're going to be in the league for 10, 15 years just off of, how well they're trained once they get to the league. So I think it's crazy to pass that up. Well, we are going to jump into the film room to watch the Nevada Buck extravaganza. Had to pull this thing down because I heard about it for 3 days. You sent it to me. We're just going to run through it real quick. It's a little orbit motion, which is our favorite motion in the whole world, where you see the slot comes through here. And then you have a little counter action here where you pull the guard, pull the tackle. So there's a lot of eye candy on this play. But why, when you saw this, what did you think initially, Nevada?
Well, my initial thought was that he had missed the handoff, and that's I wasn't quite sure if McCord if Hayden went the wrong way, or it should have been an outside handoff instead of an inside handoff, or what was going on. But like you said, there's a lot of eye candy. You've got tackles pulling. They actually set up a screen to the top side. You've got orbit motion with X coming, and then you've got McCord actually attacking the line with a run pass option. So, I mean, to put it in like terms from like The Hobbit, this would be like when they were at Helm's Deep and they had like all the orcs there, and the orcs were like crashing against the walls, and then they had that one orc go down there with that flaming thing of gunpowder, and it blew a hole down the wall, and they got through the wall and the thing. That's kind of the way that I think about this play. It's stop attacking the walls with the orcs and use a little deception.
This is like when the giant trees come walking across like the
Yes,
ravine.
yes,
This is like
trees, man.
the
Yeah.
giant trees show up right here. You know.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
So you've got this double pull. So again, imagine you're this cat and you're you've got five across. So they're bringing heat right here with this look, and you've got your guard and tackle pulling this way, and then you've got an orbit motion coming this way, and then you have a tailback coming this way, and you have to figure out where's the ball going. So that's like the beauty of this play is like you don't know, you have no clue, and then I don't know. The interesting thing is they do this little spin, which you never see like a reverse out handoff like this is. Again, because this is like rehearsed. Like he looks like he's like Michael Jackson hitting the Thriller, and then all of a sudden is he handing him the ball? No. So it's kind of like a triple option where he pulls it back. And again, I don't know what this is. I don't know if they told him to act like he didn't get the ball and he puts his hands up, or if this is like, because really this looks like it could be a screen. But you've got all the eyeballs.
Yeah, but go back. Say he had handed that ball off to Dowling. Say he hands it off to Dowling. Okay, let's just go follow it through. Look, you've got blocker on the top. You've got a blocker coming across who's got that guy, and then Dowling. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know. I watched this, and again, this is hard to defend. Like this is the stuff I love. Like you can't run this every play, but you mix this in every 3 or 4 plays. A play like this where you need so much eye discipline to follow this thing. You got Cade crashing down here. You got your guy hooking. You got your tackle wrapping, and you can only do this with athletic tackles. Like that's like the beauty of having Josh Fryer, who came in as a guard who could pull, Jimmy Simmons. And then you've got your triple option guy over here, where all of a sudden, you got this guy's the guy you're reading. So if he takes him, then he's running there and getting the first down. This is 2nd and 1. So he's got to go get 1 yard. So when he decides to take him, then guess what? You're getting the ball, dude. And so he tosses it to him. And like these are my favorite kind of throws because this is like a 3-yard throw. So anyone can complete that. So you get it to a guy in space. Get a bunch of yardage, nice and easy. I just love that play. I love that design. I call it the Nevada Buck. Mark Pantoni, I know you're watching right now, so go into that staff room and erase what it's called and just write the Nevada. And that could be the word. When you guys go fast and you guys go say it one word for that, it's called Nevada. But we need more of that. That was why I said for my second reason as to why we'll wax Penn State is because he opened up Pandora's box now. And he called a lot of stuff that was really hard to defend. And I'm like, where's this been? Like the quarterback run. Oh my God, Kyle McCord pulled it. Devin Brown down in the short red zone where we got stuffed time after time because we're outnumbered. All of a sudden you're on the quarterback with a lead blocker and it's just like stealing. And then there's stuff like that. But your thoughts about it? Because again, I love watching that kind of stuff.
Well, when you go back and rewatch the game, again, we always make this point in this podcast. We're always trying to make the people that listen to us more educated, want to be smarter fans, be better fans. Realize what a profound difference it was. I know it was Purdue. I know, so forget that. Forget the opponent. Watch the scheme. That was different than anything we've ever seen from Ryan Day before. That's a moment in time. So the only open question is, was that an opening salvo of what's going to be a continued evolution of the OSU offense, or was that just some sort of bolt from the blue moment where he just had this crazy moment where he decided to open up the playbook and he's going to go back to, stretch to the boundary side? I think we're going to see this going forward because it's just like you said, it's so difficult to defend. It's so completely different than anything that we've seen before from the OSU offense, certainly this year. But I would contend going back the last couple of years, it's different than anything that we've seen. And you wonder why. Why was Dallin Hayden running through the holes with nobody touching him? This is the reason. It wasn't that we automatically these guys morphed into Orlando Pace and Corey Stringer or whatever it was. It's just the scheme's better. And when you see plays like that, you kind of go, wow, this is the kind of stuff that we should be doing all the time. Let's stress the defense. Let's not just line up double tight end and run into the middle of the line. Let's show a little bit of creativity. And we had solid information that this was what exactly was going to happen, and then it happened, and it was just beautiful to see. I expect to see more of that against Penn State. It's my reason number 6 why I think that Ohio State is going to do it. I think that Ryan Day has kind of found something there in terms of opening the playbook. I think he's really listened to some of the influences, the Joe Philbin influence, some of the other influences, and that's one thing that when we lost Kevin Wilson, you really lost an adult up in the booth and somebody that could really challenge Kevin offensively or Ryan offensively. And I think Philbin's done that. He can't do it on game days, but they can do it in game prep. And it certainly showed last week against Purdue. But when you watch a play like that, you realize it wasn't just the opponent. It was an unbelievable scheme and stuff that we hadn't seen in quite some time at Ohio State.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of self-scout is when you have someone say, hey, by the way, we haven't pulled a single time. So the end crashes every time. We're outnumbered every time. So if you pull it once, the whole stadium might die of a heart attack in shock for the fact that we did it. And now they actually have to defend it. They don't, before they didn't have to defend it because we never actually pulled it. So I think it's beautiful again. And the flip of it is I also think that Jim Knowles has a lot of stuff that he hasn't shown yet. Because again, this ain't the Jim Knowles defense from Oklahoma State. He's adjusted a lot, but man, I mean, if there's ever a time to drop the hammer, it's like, when you're seeing a young quarterback with a bad O-line except for the left tackle, I mean, I think we could see some heat this week. Again, I could see Sonny Styles blitzing. I could see just, more work between the D-line. I think I know he let the defensive ends get loose last week because, again, Jack Sawyer, I watch the ends every game. Like, I love watching and studying JT and Jack. I love watching defensive ends. And they never were allowed to do anything except for cage rush, which is basically like an outside contained bull rush where they couldn't go inside. And Jack Sawyer went inside for the first time all season, and he got a sack because it wasn't the same predictable rush that you're doing every single time. Again, it's like, if you're a pitcher and the coach says you're only allowed to throw fastballs down the middle, like, it's going to be hard to get any outs, let alone, retire anybody, let alone not just give up home run after home run. And that's kind of what it's like. These guys are getting stopped because they're allowed zero creativity in the pass rush. But our defense has been outstanding. We've kept guys in the pocket. Again, you watched the NFL last night. You watched the Chargers and the Cowboys. Micah Parsons, Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, some of the best pass rushers of all time. And those guys are all over the place pass rushing, and they lose contain all the time. So guess what? Dak Prescott runs all over the place, and Justin Herbert scrambles all over the place. So that's not the defense that we're doing. And again, it costs the Chargers the game because Dak running and creating. They hit the long. He had the rushing touchdown, and they had the long play to Tony Pollard. So the scheme is what the scheme is. And again, I do not care about sacks. I don't care about picks. I don't care about turnovers. I don't care about anything. All I care about is keeping the team out of the end zone. That's all that matters to me is scoring defense. That's it. We can give up 75 million yards on Saturday, but if we give up 3 points, we win. We give up 10 points, we win. So that's just, it is what it is. As Bill Belichick says, stats are for losers. Nevada, we're going to wrap this show up. A nice little spirited show. Great film breakdown of the Nevada Buck play. But what are your final thoughts as we are getting closer to the Penn State game?
Yeah, well, I just, they asked Jim Knowles today about defense and, about stuff. And he's just like, look, our job is just to prevent the other team from scoring and get the ball back to our offense as quickly as possible without having allowed points. And, it was just, elegantly simple. They also asked him if he coaches up Tyleik Williams to knock down those passes because Tyleik had 3 passes knocked down. And he's like, no, that's just Tyleek being an athlete, going out there and making plays like that. But yeah, I think I think he blitzed more against Purdue than I've seen him blitz this year. I think they're going to bring it against Aller. I think that when you've got a combination of not dynamic wide receivers and a kind of a young, inexperienced quarterback, I think you're going to see a lot of pressure. And I think when you pressure a quarterback like that, it can lead to it can lead to some bad things, but it can lead to good things. And like I said, I can't wait for Saturday. It's going to be a great day, so I can't wait for it.
Yeah, and a bad offensive line. Like, don't forget that part. Like, I mean, outside of that left tackle is great, but I mean, he ain't playing all 5 spots. He's playing one spot. He can't block all the other 3 guys. He's not going to be blocking Tyleek and Mike Hall and JT or Jack or whoever is going against the right tackle. So I'm excited for it. Well, we're going to wrap this thing up. We appreciate you guys, as always, being a part of our show. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Sandy, who got the super chat in there. Again, appreciate all the kind comments, all the kind words. If you guys enjoy this show, you guys need to join BuckeyeScoop.com. It is our premium message board. We are on that all day and night. It is just rocking right now because people are excited. I think people are already starting to tailgate. It is only Tuesday, but we appreciate all the excitement and the fervor. Being a former Ohio State football player, I want you guys to get rowdy. We always love when the fans are cranked up and turned up, and that always makes us more excited to play. So we appreciate you guys, as always. We appreciate all of your support. So, as always, thank you so much. If you could leave us a like on your way out the door, that'd be fantastic. Also, click subscribe. Also, click that little alert bell. Again, those all help you know when we're going live, which is usually around 7 o'clock every night. So, thank you so much for tuning in. Shout out where you guys are watching from. Give me some reasons why you think Ohio State is going to kick Penn State's butt. So we're really excited about this. I can't see us losing this one. I'll be honest with you. Studied a lot of tape on Penn State. Don't think they're very good. I think that defense, they haven't seen anything like Ohio State. They haven't seen anything like Marvin and McCord and our O-line and our running backs. So I'm excited about it. So with that being said, thank you so much, Buckeye Nation, and thank you, Scoop family. I'm heading on to BuckeyeScoop.com right now all night to take questions and answers. So if you guys want to jump in, ask me some questions, jump on there. So I appreciate you guys. You have a great rest of your day. Go Bucks.